That he who blesseth himself in the earth shall bless himself in the God of truth. And he that sweareth in the earth shall swear by the God of truth, because the former troubles are forgotten, and because they are hid from thine eyes. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and they shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem, and joy in my people. The voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that hath not filled his. The child shall die 100 years old. But the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be accursed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build, and another inhabit, and shall another eat. Whereas the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of the Lord, and their offspring with them. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith the Lord.
This is exactly what the Most High is going to do with his elect, with the nation of Israel in general. Because the nation of Israel will be a nation of superhumans on the planet Earth. And this is what's coming.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kapadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders, GMS, rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word, the truth, and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua. Pushing and get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers and listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right, and what I want to get into this morning, all right, the morning news and prophecy, is another dream, okay, that was posted, and this time it was posted by the brother Yaquab, the hopeful lake 3. All right, and we're gonna go to that dream. It's a dream of civil unrest, which we know. All right, that this devil, he's orchestrating, okay, civil unrest, to bring about, his agenda of the sea hill. You see, order out of chaos. All right, because that sea hill is going to be the order that this devil presents, okay, in the chaos that he's going to create, okay, and he wants people to be divided, okay, he wants people to be violent, and all the recipes are in the pot, okay, for civil unrest, and the Lord just using Esau to stir their pot. Esau is being a tool that's being used by the Lord, to stir the pot to bring on, the civil unrest. But all the ingredients are in the pot. Okay. Now, when you go here to the book of Matthew, chapter 24, in verse 12, it says, "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." Because this is a wicked society, a sinful society. Okay. This is a society where sin is culture. Okay. Here in America, man. Okay. And when you have a society, all right, that's dominated by sin, love, all right, true love, okay, becomes cold. You see? Because when you go into righteousness, righteousness is ruled in love, whether it's in correction, even the aspects of the law where certain people, would be unalive. Well, that was out of love for everyone else. Okay. You were unalive or more so that that culture wouldn't spread and harm everyone else. You were unalive, an adulterer, all right, an adulteress, so that culture wouldn't spread and harm everyone else. Okay, a lazy son, okay, you would get rid of him because he will be a harm to everyone else. He will be a liability. So even the laws about unaliving people is all rooted in love for everyone else. Okay, so when you look at this society, that doesn't have any righteous structure, okay, the love of many wax cold. It becomes a very narcissistic, all right, self-centered, you know, um, self-absorbed, all right, self-worshiping society, all right, to where life has no value in America, man. You know, so like I say, the ingredients are there, okay, for this place to go into civil unrest. All right, and all this devil, all it takes is an inventor to, for things to go haywire. All right, this is Genesis 6 and 11. It said the earth also was corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence. Okay, so the earth, okay, during the time of Noah, because we in the pre-flood area now. Because what did Yahweh Shah say? Just as in the days of Noah, so it shall be before the coming of man. So before the second coming, it will be like the atmosphere that was during the time of Noah. Okay, when the earth was corrupt before the Most High, and we see the earth is corrupt before the Most High now. All right, and the center of that corruption is here, right here in America, man. Okay, the progenitor of the corruption in the earth. That's why even what's that in Revelation 19 and 2. If a brother can post that, able to post that, or we might get it later on. But we're gonna segue to the dream, okay? Because we're right here at the brink of civil unrest, man. The latest happenings, you know, we see Kirk, okay, has did nothing but cause, more division. The latest happening, all right. With the government cracking down on free speech and homegrown terrorism, and you got all these things happening, man. You know, and there's always a threat of a cyber attack. There's always a threat of the food supply chain quitting. The trucking, all right. Truckers, are losing their jobs left and right, and you just got a lot going on. Like I said, all the ingredients are present, okay, needed to bring, all right, civil unrest, okay. So let's go get this video, okay. And I say this is off the brother channel, hopeful elect, all right, the brother Yaquab, all right. So he's put this dream up. So we're gonna get into it, okay, and also let me get this too, because this is prophecy happening in real time. The Lord told us, okay, what would be going on. All right, you go to Joel 2 and 28, and it says, "And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions." Okay, and there's been a lot of visions, all right, that brothers been having, that random people been having, women been having certain dreams and visions, Edomites, because it doesn't matter what vessel he uses to bring about the dream or vision, is that they're happening. All right, and they're being published, okay, for the prophets to go into, okay. So we're gonna see more, dreams and visions, and we're gonna take heed to these things, man. Because this is the Lord, talking, to His people, okay. It says in Habakkuk, we're on our watch to see what the Lord says unto us, man. He speaks through current events, news, and the happenings and people's visions and dreams is the Lord speaking and letting us know what time we in. As the scripture say, measure out the time diligently in itself. Okay? So let's play this and we'll expound on the dream. We brothers add precepts, as you see fit, according to the vision, all right, that then Jake is having. So let's play this.
About a couple of months ago, I had a dream about America, and forewarning, it was pretty graphic. It was pretty gory. So if this not your type of conversation, you can go ahead and log off. In this dream, I was standing inside of this massive warehouse, and it was so big, y'all. It felt endless, and inside there was a whole community under one roof in this warehouse. And it's as I was viewing, I was in the dream and I was viewing it and like,
And this big warehouse is America, man. You know, because America is nothing but, a big plantation, for the elites. Okay, and big warehouse is America, man. All right.
third person view. And as I'm beginning to analyze the situation I'm in, I see in one section there were people graduating from school. They were in caps and gowns, they were receiving diplomas. Then I turned and looked at another section, and there was a full on church service going on. There was shouting, praising, giving God the glory. Then I looked in another section, and there were kids that were playing. Families were just living life. It felt like hope. It felt like community in this massive warehouse. Then suddenly, outside, I heard chaos rising. Trucks pulled up, big old trucks. In my dream, the best way I could see it, they were like F-150s, big old, big old trucks, big trucks. Um, and the moment everyone in the warehouse heard them outside pull up, it's like everyone knew what time it was. I began to watch everyone in the warehouse stop doing what they were doing. The people who were graduating from the diplomas stopped me. The people who were in the churches stopped me away. The kids who were playing stopped me away. Everyone in the warehouse stopped whatever they were in the midst of doing, and they began to grab guns and weapons. It's like they were like preparing for war. And we got
So real quick, what I want to get into, because he spoke about, all right, people, doing certain activities. The children were playing, people at church, okay, and people just doing their daily things, and all of a sudden it went from day to day to now. All right, it's civil unrest, because it's gonna be a quick shift. You see, so people are going to go from their day to day to then it's gonna be a quick shift to civil unrest, man, because things are gonna get bad quick. Okay, when the Lord put the spirit on this devil to cause certain things to happen, however you do it, the grid shut down, okay, the economy collapse or whatever angle this devil come in, it's gonna get bad quick, man. Okay, it said, "Make no tarrying." Sirach 5:7 said, "Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth." All right, suddenly. Okay, so they was doing their day to day business, whatever they was doing. You know, he said it felt like a community. Another day in the neighborhood. Okay, then all of a sudden, them trucks pulled up. All right, and they had to go from their day to day, all right, to survival mode, man. Okay, and they had to get the gap. Okay, it said, "For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and then thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance," man. All right, and people are secure, you know, in these jobs, in their life, in their, the American economy, is bad. People are secure in these things, man. Okay, people feel, people are still clawing and scratching for some sense of security in this jacked up society. People have their 401ks, and people have, might be have a house paid for and certain things paid for, and they're good. And, there's a lot of people that still have this false hope of security in this current situation, man. And it's going to be snatched quick. Okay. So let's go here. Because even when you go to, let's get this in the book of Psalms chapter 2. Okay. But that's what I took from that. I say people went from their day to day, to instantly, having to go into war mode. All right. So you go to the book of I want to get this in the NLT, Psalms 2 and 12. Let's get this in the NLT. All right, it's the book of Psalms, chapter 2, verse 12. It says, "Submit to the Most High's royal Son, or he will become angry." Okay, which is Yahweh Shai. And this is the grace period to do that. You know, this is the grace period to do that, to submit to Yahweh Bashem Shai. Okay, to submit to Yahweh Shai, the royal Son. Okay, to come under the banner of Yahweh Shai. The teaching is going forth. Righteous instructions are going forth. Okay, and it says, "Or he will become angry, and you will be destroyed in the midst of all your activities." Okay, because he was in their dream speaking of this big warehouse, and people, what? They was in the midst of all their activities, man. Okay, but in the midst of that, see, the Lord is getting angry. The scripture says that what? The Lord is angry with the wicked every day. Okay, so the Lord is getting angrier by the day. Okay, and the people are going on about their day to day in the midst of their activities. And see, that's when, all right, civil unrest, okay, and tribulation is going to hit people in the midst of their activities, man. It's going to be quick. It says, "For his anger flares up in the instant." Okay, his anger flares up in the instant, but what joy for all who take refuge in him, man. And see, we understand this is our refuge, man. See, we resting in Yahweh by Shemal Shah now. Okay, we're taking refuge in the Lord. We're not ignoring Yahweh by Shemal Shah, and we should show appreciation. The Lord allowed us to take, refuge in him on a daily basis, man. We should constantly show that appreciation, man, that the Lord has allowed us to take refuge in him, and we're going to see, the value of that increase as things get more chaotic. Okay, and people are going to be taken in the instant, man. Like, the Lord got this thing like chess, man, and he's going to checkmate the earth in a major way, man, especially here in America, man. Okay, and it's going to get bad leading up to the missiles, man. Okay, so let's go back to it. Go back to the video. Running back a little bit.
It's like everyone knew what time it was. So trucks pulled up, big old trucks. Then I turned and looked at another section, and there was a full on church service going on. There was shouting, praising, giving God the glory. Then I looked in another section, and there were kids that were playing. Families were just living life. It felt like hope. It felt like community in this massive warehouse. Then suddenly, outside, I heard chaos rising. Trucks pulled up, big old trucks. In my dream, the best way I could see it, they were like F-150s, big old trucks, big trucks. Um, and the moment everyone in the warehouse heard them outside pull up, it's like everyone knew what time it was. So I began to watch everyone in the warehouse stop doing what they were doing. The people who were graduating, receiving diplomas, stopped midway. The people who were in the church service stopped midway. The kids who were playing stopped midway. Everyone in the warehouse stopped whatever they were in the midst of doing, and they began to grab guns and weapons. It's like they were like preparing for war. And we got outside, and when those trucks stopped, people got out. And this is where the dream was a bit strange to me. When these people got out of the trucks, most of them were white people. But here's the strange part. It wasn't just, a black versus white thing, because most of the people in the warehouse were black. So in my head, I'm thinking this is going to be a race war, black against white. But no, the strange thing is some of them, once we got outside and got in the field outside of the warehouse, some of them switched sides. Like some of the people that were in the warehouse switched sides and start fighting alongside the people who came in the trucks, and vice versa. Some of the people who came in the trucks switched sides and start fighting along with the people who came out of the warehouse.
So it lets you know that the division, is bigger than just Jake versus Esau. You're gonna have aspects of that, Jacob versus Esau, but you got what, the left, the right, the liberals, conservative, because you got nigger Republicans, okay, you got Edomite liberals, that's going to be against Edomite Republicans. It's going to be all right. It's going to be a brawl for it all, man. Okay, and the scriptures speak about that. Let's go here. Okay, let's get a few precepts. All right, let's go to here's Zechariah. And if a brother could, with that second Esdras 13 and 31, 30 and 31, Baba Kashah. Well, you get this in Zephaniah, okay? So you're gonna have all type of divisions, man, because you're gonna have social wars, the middle class, versus, the lower class, the upper middle versus the middle and the lower, it's gonna be all over the place, man. You know, it's not just subjugated to a Jacob versus Esau thing. It's going to be a lot of division, you know, and it's just going to be it's going to be a shit show out there, man. You know, and because the divisions are heavy, people are more divided than ever. Okay, this is Zechariah 8, all right, and 10, all right. Get this in the KJV. All right, Zechariah 8 and 10, it says, "For before these days there was no hire for man, nor any hire for beast, neither was there any peace to him that went out or came in, because of the affliction. For I set all men, okay, for I set all men, every one against his neighbor." Okay? So it's going to be, a bunch of division. People are going to be in survival mode. It's going to get so tight that it doesn't matter what, your ideology is, man. It's just going to be about survival. It's going to get to a point to where it's just about pure survival, man. Okay, being a Republican and Democrat ain't even going to matter in a certain point, because of how dire scrapes people are going to be in, man. Okay, so he said, I said all men, everyone against his neighbor. So it's going to be the Lord causing, this division. All right, the Lord's working through Esau, all right, on the left hand side, okay, to have people enchanted, okay, with these different ideologies, man. Okay, for the sake of a clash, man. Okay, for civil unrest. You see? So, um, let's go here. Let's go back to the video and get what you brother got on the comment board. Uh, all right, this is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 13, verse 30. It says, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. All right, this is Yahweh Shai. All right, this precept by the brother Kazak Bun Yahweh. All right, verse 31. And it says, and one shall undertake, it says, and one shall undertake to fight against another, and one city against another, and one place against another, and one people against another, and one realm against another. So it's going to be, a division. It's going to be many divisions. Okay, it ain't gonna be just one side and this. No, it's gonna be many divisions out here, man. Okay, and it's gonna go to survival mode. Okay, so people are gonna be linked by these ideologies, but then it's gonna transition into just straight survival. Okay, and in the midst of this devil is gonna come and present what they see here, you know, as a solution. Okay, so this is what we're seeing. All right. Oh yeah, the brother got one. This is the brother Proverbs. All right, this is your brother you call hopeful. 144 Proverbs 24 and 22 said, for their calamity shall rise suddenly, and who knows the ruin of them both. Okay, so this calamity gonna rise suddenly, man. Okay, and next thing you know, people are gonna be in straight survival mode. Okay, it's gonna be real militant out here in America, man. The most armed nation in the earth. Okay, the most armed population in the earth, man. It's gonna get real grimy and real violent, man. Okay, so this is a time for us, to be in that refuge of our power. Okay, to be hid from these things, to be shielded from these things, man. Okay, because remember, this time of torment is for the wicked. Second Ezra 8 and 50. A brother can post it. Okay, well let's let this play some more. All right, but going back to Second Ezra 13 and 31. Okay, it's gonna be division on every level. You know, niggas gonna be at each other's throats in the neighborhoods. Some niggas gonna click up and try to raid Edomite spots and certain city city people gonna try to come and invade the rural are gonna be defending what they got. It's gonna be all over the place, man. Different states gonna be against each other, counties gonna be against each other, you know cities, one city over from each other gonna be against each other, countries gonna be against each other in the world. Okay, and the ultimate clash is gonna be Yahweh Shai coming into this realm. Okay, to come against, all right, the realm of Esau, Edom, and these heathens, man. You know, hey, so
And what what broke me in this dream was I was seeing women and children getting killed. It was black against black. It was white against white. It was black against white. And it was white against black. It was basically community against community. And in the midst of all this blood being shed, these babies getting offed, these women getting offed, these men getting offed, communities of people, human beings. I looked up, and in the midst of while I was looking up, we was, mind you, we was in a field, and it was full of sheds, and the women and the children were trying to hide in these sheds for safety. I saw people literally go to the sheds, open the sheds door, and yeah, awful. It was horrible. It was a very graphic dream, and it disturbed me really bad. And within the midst of being in this field full of sheds, there was this one big shed that was bigger than all the other ones, and it stood out. And hanging on it was a giant American flag. And then that's when I woke up from the dream. And I couldn't help but wonder, was this just a dream that I was having, or was this a warning? Because what one of the key things I recognize out of the dream is that it wasn't just a black versus white. It was Americans versus Americans, people who are supposed to be a part of one community. But yet we were fighting each other. We were killing each other. We were doing horrible, awful things to one another. And blood was being shed. And I looked up and I saw the American flag. I don't believe that I had that dream by accident. I believe that that was symbolic to what we may see going on here in this country. There's a lot of division, whether it's racial, whether it's political, there's division. And if I could leave y'all with anything,
No, we good, Jake. All right. And see, he said he seen that American flag. Let you know that this coming to America, man. America is gonna be the worst place to be, okay, in the times that we're coming into, because the Lord is pissed off in America more than anything. Okay. Matter of fact, if a brother can get there, Revelation 19:2. Okay. So let's read this. This is Brother Hebrew Academy, 2nd Ezra 8:50 said, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride." All right. And America is the most rebellious country, the most proud country, all right, the most sinful country, okay, the most anti-Messiah nation. So it's gonna be the worst right here, man. The Lord's gonna have judgment, the worst right here. All right. And he said he's seen women and children taking shelter, and men, just going to those sheds, Salaki, those sheds where they was at, hey, and just offering them, man. Okay, women have got used to these perks and these privileges of America, man. Hey, when the Lord open up in judgment, man, all those perks and privileges gonna be revoked. Because this society has this thing of, women and children, women and children. And when the time of judgment, the Lord not gonna be, all right, secluding women and children. Okay, women and children will get involved in this. Okay, and the perks and that, that whole stigma of at all costs protect the women and children. No, that's gonna be eradicated. Judgment finna go forth. Okay, just like the brother just put, this brother Kazakh Yahweh, Ezekiel 9:4, and the Lord said unto him, "Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for the abomination that be done, okay, in the midst thereof." You see, and that's the elect, okay, because the elect, all right, are vexed with this society up and running. So this is why, things like this bring us joy. This vision is a joy for us because we understand these things have to happen, and we're right here. Okay, this is what the future of America. He just described the future of America, man. Sudden civil unrest, man. sudden extreme violence. All right, straight, like say Egyptian against Egyptian. Okay, and the Lord gonna have this place in torments because of great pride, man. Okay, this is Ezekiel 9 and 5, and it says, "And to the others he said in my hearing, Go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have pity." So those men, when they was open those shed in this dream, all right, they didn't hesitate. All right, when they seen women and children, okay, they got their judgment, man. You see, what we finna find out, the Heavenly Father don't play, man. All right, the way that this world has taught people to think, and no, the Most High don't play like that. Okay, we finna see, all right, why he is called, all right, why he was called Allah Shadra during the time of the flood. Okay, you don't think there was a women and children that got drowned? Okay, pregnant women, infants, old women, older people in general. You don't think they got drowned during the time of Noah? Okay, so you keep reading. Let me see, did it like it cut it off? Yep. Uh, oh yeah. Let me go grab it real quick. Some Ezekiel 9, they like they cut it off. They do this sometimes. So Ezekiel 9, all right, and 6, and it says, I read 5 again. It says, "And to the others he said in my hearing, Go ye after him through the city and smite, let not your eye spare, neither have pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark," all right, the exemption, okay, that the why, the spiritual mark, "and begin in my sanctuary. Then they begin at the ancient men which were before, okay, the house, okay, even the leaders, okay, amongst Israel, these false leaders, and in cahoots with this devil, these sellout, okay, judgment finna go forth, man. You see, and this is what people sleep on, the judgment of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. Okay, people speak. When our people complain about the Hebrew Israelites, they complain about, us making the claim that we're Israelites. But you still okay. You don't believe we're Israelites, but you don't hear the judgment that's in the scriptures that's going forth. You don't hear the prophecy of the coming, all right, terror of the Lord that's coming forth. Okay, and that's what people sleep on. All right, and that's why the Lord's going to have it happen in the instant. All right, in the sudden. You know. So, um, uh, let's see. Yeah, bro, they do that often with the 9 and 6. All right, so this is another one from the brother Kazak Bunny Howard, Revelation 19 and 2, because he said he's seen what, the American flag. Okay, so it wasn't no, it wasn't random. He's seen the American flag at the end of the dream, because this is going to be the conditions in America, man. This is what the Lord is going to bring to America, man. All right, out of all the countries in the world, he's the most angry at America, man. All right. Revelation 19 and 2 said, "For true and righteous are his judgments, for he have judged a great whore, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and had avenged the blood of his servants at her hand." Okay? So there's an emphasis on the judgment of the whore. America has an isolated judgment separate from everyone else, man. You know, the brunt of the Lord's anger, okay, is going to be dished out here in America, man. Okay, and then America is getting ready to, you got, the believers that's going to be martyrs. So America's going to be guilty of, of the martyrs. That's why I say he's going to avenge the blood of his servants at his hand. That's why when you get to the point, where believers, start being martyrs. Okay, that's how Yahweh Shai is at the door any second. You know, so we're right here, man. Um, this devil, he's getting ready to be judged. Okay, we finna see. All right. And matter of fact, the brother got it. Okay, this is Second Ezra 14 and 16. Brother Kazak Bunny Yahweh, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter, man. Okay, so we haven't seen, okay, the worst time ever. Okay, we're gradually getting into that time. All right, and the Lord going to have it to where this thing is going to switch instantly. It's going to be quick. Okay, so yeah, just wanted to get into that. Just dealing with the brother dream. All right, of civil unrest. Which that's to come. All right, thus says the prophecy, man. And we see all the pieces being moved, the psyops, the enchantments, all you know, the recipes needed. All right, the ingredients. For the recipe of civil unrest, everything is in play, and the pot is being stirred, man. You know, so Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessed salutations to the hopeful like Shalom.